Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil. And I don't know, I'm gonna try this video out. You guys tell me if you kind of like this, I'll call it like Fat Phil Debates. I don't know if it'll be a new playlist or not, but, so I've been having this inner debate with myself of what are the best factions in the game, like, and I'm not gonna rate every single faction in order, but I was thinking of like the overarching factions, right, your major factions, like, what are the best factions? And I was kind of getting down to, like, if I had to pick a top three, that I could only bring three factions into Grand Arena, Territory Wars, whatever, what would they be? And so I started going through and thinking through the different factions. And so the ones that I was really tussling with back and forth was, how do you, like, do I grab Sith? Do I grab Jedi? There are two that I was kind of really struggling with. Because with Jedi, right, you are getting two Galactic Legends. Now you won't get Commander Tano with Kenobi, right? Because she's not she's not a Jedi. But you will get, Ahsoka, you'll get General Kenobi, you'll get Baby Tano, and you'd even get General Skywalker because you're not picking the Galactic Republic where you'd have that 501st, right? So, I was thinking, man, like Jedi would be pretty good. You get the two GLs. If you were thinking of a game mode like GAC, right, you're going to be able to also run the Qui-Gon Jinn Omicron team. You've got your Old Republic Jedi in here. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, right? Jedi's a huge faction, and I was like, with two GLs, some solid Omicrons in there, I mean, you could do some really good things. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I think I would pick Jedi. Because the reason I strayed away from Sith, yes, you do get Darth Malgus, you will get Lord Vader, and you will get Sith Eternal. But Sith Eternal, you're going to be missing, Watt, right? You're going to be missing any of his babysitting units, so you'd have to run the full Sith team there. Now, you would get Savage, you would get Trey, like, you get some really good Omicrons. And you do get Lord Vader, you get that second GL, but Lord Vader doesn't have any Sith synergy. He's all Empire. So, you're kind of getting this, like, you could use him as a solo character, basically, but you're losing a lot of that defensive viability if you went with Sith, right? So I wasn't as big of a fan of selecting, the Sith here, simply because, there's not really as many of them. When you sit down and you think about it, you'd have like your Darth Traya team, you kind of have Savage somewhere, like who are you going to use with Sith Eternal? There's a lot of questions, right? So I kind of talked myself out of grabbing Sith. So then I was like, man, like, that was when I was like, I think that's when I would grab the Jedi, right? Like, get my Jedi going. Then it kind of became, all right, like, would I have taken Galactic Republic? And the answer was no. That there's just, you get your Bad Batch, you get your 501st, you have that Qui-Gon Jinn team, you'd have the full Jedi Master Kenobi team, but, you wouldn't get the Jedi Master Luke's, you wouldn't get, Jedi Knight Luke, Revan, so that's kind of what ended up making me go in another direction. So then I was like, man, like I was thinking scoundrels, but remember, Jabba the Hutt is not a scoundrel. Jabba is a bounty hunter, right? But he's not a scoundrel. And that kind of strayed me away from picking scoundrels, is not having that galactic legend, right? Like I couldn't do it. So I kind of, as I was going through this, I was like, you know what? I think Jedi is going to be that, faction to go right here. So then I was thinking to myself, man, like what other faction? I was like, you know what? Empire. I would take Empire. Yes, I'm only getting one galactic legend in Lord Vader, but I'm going to get Lord Vader. Now I'm going to get Emperor Palpatine, Mara Jade, right? I get my Darth Vader, but I'm going to get my Imperial Troopers, right? Two sets of them. You're going to get your Iden Versio team, and you're going to get your General Veers team. So now I've got like solid characters, right? I've got like some, I've got two Imperial Trooper teams. We've got a Lord Vader team. You've got this Emperor Palpatine, Mara Jade, Darth Vader's getting thrown in there, and then your Inquisitors. So then you get Reva on top of all of those things. And I mean, that's absurd, right? When you sit down, you think about all the teams that you could build because of the Empire, it starts to get a little crazy, right? And so, I decided to, go for the Empire. And I'm going to just preface this now. I'm kind of not including ships. And the reason we're not including ships is because, because of the Executor fleet as the reason I stopped and didn't want to include ships. With Executor, it's a bounty, you need all the bounty hunter ships, and then you need your what's the word here? You'd need like Piet as a like commander, right? And I just like it was just getting a little bit too complicated between picking all those things because like profundity, you would need to grab scoundrels because Dash Rendar isn't a rebel himself. Like it just I was like it's too convoluted with ships, so we're just going based off characters, right? So Empire kind of put on here, and I was like, I really do like the Empire. I don't think they're as Jedi. You're getting two GLs, and you get the Qui-Gon Omicron. But here you're getting Lord Vader, you're getting Reva, you're getting Emperor Palpatine, and you're Iden, General Veers. I felt like you're getting a little bit more with the Empire than you are Jedi. Simply because I could throw Reva down and you need Kenobi to clear that, and now my Lord Vader team, okay, it's not quite as good because it wouldn't have Maul yet, but we'd get there. So I was kind of like, Empire I think is going to take that, split decision between Jedi and Empire. I think I'd lean more towards the Empire because you're getting a lot of those other teams that those mid-level teams that you could use. But then I was like, man, what's a faction that's going to encompass everything? And I kind of landed on unaligned Force users. Because Supreme Leader Kylo Ren is an unaligned Force user, as is Rey, and then obviously your Inquisitors, right? But you'll get Cal Kestis, right? Your Cal Kestis team is unaligned Force user. And then you'd get characters like Commander Tano, you'd get Maul, which means that your Lord Vader from your Empire and your Jedi Master Kenobi from, Jedi, their teams are complete, right? You've got the best versions of them with these characters. It also means between Jedi, Empire, and unaligned Force users, you'd have a Starkiller team. Emperor Palpatine and Mara Jade are Empire. You get a Jedi to throw in there, and then your unaligned Force users fill out Starkiller, and then your Visas Mar type situation. With Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, right? You throw Kylo Ren Unmasked on there. You throw OG Kylo, and then you have some other Empire characters you could throw in there because Kylo's a dark side leader. I mean, you could also throw some leftover, you could throw leftover Inquisitors in there. I mean, that list goes on. And then with, Rey, right? You'd have Rey. Then you'd have, your unaligned Force users like Cal Kestis, Seer, JTR, Ben Solo. I mean, it just, as I was thinking about it, I was like, man, unaligned Force users are kind of a, really, really solid faction now. And it kind of, as I was going through this, I was thinking of how to make the best roster. I was like, man, unaligned Force users, you get Kylo, you get Rey, you're gonna get Reva, right? Because she's not the Inquisitors are unaligned Force users, so you are double dipping with Inquisitors when you pick Empire. But I don't think that's necessarily a problem because these unaligned Force users are just that much more worth it. They're gonna round out the Jedi and Empire factions really, really well. So yeah, I mean, and obviously by excluding ships, it does get easier because you throw ships into the mix and everything just gets so much more convoluted. I think then, like I said, Rebels, your Profundity fleet wouldn't have Dash Rendar because Dash is not a rebel; he's a scoundrel. His ship is a rebel, but he himself is only a scoundrel. So it's kind of well, okay, so you'd need to grab Dash because you wouldn't have the character; you'd only have the ship, and then it just your rules got too complex by trying to do ships in here. So that was kind of my, I don't know, a little mini debate I had with myself because your resistance is too small, right? This is just, it's a little bit too small in here, right? And then you'd have to add Ben Solo in there, whereas an unaligned Force user, you're getting all that. Rebels, my biggest thing, there's no Galactic Legend, right? You'd get Commander Luke, you'd get him on Mothma team, you'd get Adrad, and then, but you wouldn't have a Sana, right? Because Sana's a scoundrel. So you'd have Saw Gerrera, right? That's fine. But I don't know. I didn't think Rebels had enough. To me, I was I need Galactic Legends, right? Galactic Legends rule this game. So I had to go somewhere else. And then obviously, with your, bounty hunters, my biggest thing is that, yes, you would get Jabba the Hutt, right? You have a Jabba there. But Skiffguard Lando is not a bounty hunter. He's a smuggler scoundrel. And so if you went for smugglers, right, you miss out on your other characters for Jabba, right? You wouldn't have, Coors Light Leia, you wouldn't have Chrysanthemum, So then you're like, oh, well, you can't go scoundrel, right? Because Jabba doesn't have that scoundrel tag, right? He's bounty hunter, Hutt Cartel, and smuggler. And you go Hutt Cartel and you're really cutting out a lot of these other characters. So for me, it's kind of one of those where I just felt like you're getting a little bit too specific with some of these other factions compared to your Jedi, Empire, and, unaligned Force users. And I mean, Sith was a close one. I'm not going to pretend that Sith wasn't close. Just big problem there is you need to grab more stuff for Lord Vader and more stuff for Sith Eternal. Like, your Sith Eternal is going to steal things away. I wasn't as big of a fan of it. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Like, was this an interesting video to hear me kind of talk about factions like this? I don't know. I'll kind of release this. I think, I don't know. I get these inner debates sometimes. I'm like, I don't know if you guys will find this interesting or not. So you guys tell me if you like this, and I'll kind of do more stuff where I kind of debate between factions and what I like about them and what I don't. I mean, it was definitely tough to choose between Jedi and Sith, but the big thing here was by picking unaligned Force users up, I get the Jedi Master Kenobi team, and then I get Rey and all that stuff. Like, it just made a lot more sense to go Jedi. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. As always, smash that subscribe button, leave likes, leave comments, and I will see you all in the next video. Cheers.